What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 21 of my Total War Warhammer 3 Malakai Makaisson Immortal Empires campaign. Now, the Firemouth actually looks pretty darn nice over here. I've definitely taken a look at it before, but it's been a while since I've zoomed in onto the whole situation, but it does befit a minor deity, I suppose. Though I guess the ogres don't have much claim to it, having been wiped out by the greenskins, and then the greenskins follow-up wiped out by us, or will be in the future. Anyway, as we saw last time, Kobold Redbeard got to try out those Grudge Rakers, which are pretty darn fun, and we'll be seeing plenty more of them, as I would like to build an army based around them and regular Thunderers, and I have a couple of ideas of a couple of other interesting places we might put them. Slaneshi giggle. Anyway, in terms of what we got to do this time, or where we left off last episode, TAMURKHAN was apparently right beside Grumbrindle, as we found out just as we tunneled on over, and really, TAMURKHAN's worth 15 grudges. He's basically worthless. I don't know if that's insulting or whether that's annoying. Annoying from the perspective that you'd think a champion of the Chaos Gods would be worth a few grudges here and there. What, TAMURKHAN hasn't ever killed a dwarf? 15 grudges? I feel like it's selling the old maggot short, but anyway. Frankly, I feel like Viva Bolos would be probably worth a few more grudges than that. Anyway, in addition to that, we moved out here with both Burundan and Kalon, our sort of temporary armies, which need adjustment with Draika, with 2.5 stacks nearby, and thus these guys are likely to be attacked. And in fact, if they are, we should probably level them up. Now, okay, well, I guess the question for this is going to be how your army is going to look like. And Tactician and Grimnir's heirs are fine. Well, I guess you have everything that's really important here. I still want to make you the run and gun army, and Dowie Firepower doesn't buff the Slayer parts. Frankly, aerial units would also be quite nice in a run and gun army, but I don't want to go too heavily on them since we're using them elsewhere. Might get a few just because it feels like it's appropriate for the army type, but we'll see. It really depends on how much space we have left over after the land ships and stuff. Anyway, I guess we can get... Let's get Root Marcher, obviously, but let's get Hard to Hidden into Foe Seeker, I guess. Oh, you know what? Actually, 2 points into Stubborn Defiance. Actually, no, wait, 1 point in Stubborn Defiance. Ugh. Going from level 1 to level 2 only gives us a 2% physical resistance for a single point, as opposed to 5 melee defense from Hard to Hit. That's ridiculous. Yeah, no. Under Root Marcher. There you go, sir. Let's level up your little minions as well. We probably want to move into Strike the Runes. We could also get Sharpen Weapons for us here. And Sharpen Weapons does apply to both melee and... Nah, let's go Sharpen Weapons. Let's get Sharpen Weapons. Once again, it does apply to both melee and range, and the great thing about that is that the Slayer Pirates are quite adept at taking advantage of both. So I do like that. You, sir, Master Engineer. You have basically no points on you because you're a new guy. Okay, fine. We want to get into ballistics calibration as... Actually, do we? That's a question. Wait. Oh, Bare Essentials does give us stock, which would be necessary probably for the Slayer army or for the fast-moving army. Here's the thing. I don't think Sapper, which is how we're going to get the run-and-gun army to move fast, will apply to the engineers themselves. So without stock, they would always be in danger. And this is also going to be an aspect of our all-aerial army, because, once again, we're going to need stock there. So I think we've no choice but to go into Deadeye, which is a little bit disappointing because I keep wanting to get into Grudge Raker and then Cinderblast Shell, but it's just that this tree seems so much better just because it offers a ballistics calibration to nearby units. If you have a lot of range units in the army, yeah, but in this particular case, our blob wouldn't be together, but we might want the distance and we would want the stock and the speed, so yeah. Gotta do what you gotta do. Anyway, Burundan. Hey, you, sir. You have Axe Lord, and we don't know what else exactly you're going to have in your army. Probably a pile of Quarrelers together with Longbeards, but it does depend. Until we have an idea, let's get Prestigious Descendants and Lords in Waiting. And I might as well get grudges to settle in hack and slash as well. It's a buff for a decent pile of units. Both Thanes need leveling, and we don't know which of these effects we will be using on them. Iron Drakes and Iron Breakers, not crazy useful for too much of our things right now. Let's get you Fell-Handed Warrior and Unfaltering Inherited Arms into Revered Thane, because Dowie Authority is relatively useless outside of the Skaven, due to offering ambush defense chance, because, well, we don't really care about that. Inherited Arms, Unfaltering, Revered Thane, and Foeseeker. Alright. That worked out well. Alright, so you guys will hopefully be able to stand up to Draika's armies. Gromby, you are all leveled out, and I believe these are the only places where we might get attacked, so we're probably ready to end the turn. Damage building in Waldenhof. You know what, it's probably not safe enough at the current time for us to bother investing in it. Skip that. Outpost upgrade, no. And end the turn. Let's see what they do. And okay, TAMURKHAN jumps in immediately by himself, only the one army. Alright, Gromby. TAMURKHAN himself is going to be an issue. This darn Pandemisium ability is quite the annoyance. As for those of you watching the Elspeth campaign can probably attest, it can basically wipe a unit out with a single use, and we certainly don't want it dropping on our organ guns. But, well, it's not like we can avoid it with those relatively slow-moving artillery pieces. Anyway, before we jump in, unfortunately, we did not reach engagement threshold this time, so I guess we'll be doing the standard length episode, which actually means we don't have a lot of time, which means let's get to it.
Right, my northern kin, let's get about this. I promised Grimnir there'd be a mighty tally, and I ain't one for breaking such an oath. So come on, let's have 'em!
Alrighty, well, away we go. Let's see how TAMURKHAN fares against Grimbrindal's army. Now, TAMURKHAN does have a decent bit of anti-air, or at the very least enough that we could be concerned about it, so we're going to try to lead the Rotflies, or Plague Drones without Death's Heads rather, towards the range of our anti-air guns, or specifically our units of the of organ guns, which will do a little bit of damage to those Plague Drones, but it looks like they want to continue chasing the gyrocopters around. The guns will fire on them again, but otherwise our Air Force is heading directly towards our unit, or the enemy's single Soul Grinder. It's going to fire into our battle barge here, but that would be probably a waste of its fire, as it will now be focused down by cannons and by gyrocopters without too much recourse. We certainly don't want it firing upon our melee line. Speaking of our melee line, or actually range line, whatever you want to call this, our main line units, looks like Khazak the Befouled charges Grimbrindal, who takes a bunch of hits from our own units, even as they destroy Khazak. Really gotta watch out for those troll hammers, but at the very least, Khazak goes down. We're just gonna back Grimbrindal off a little bit, so our own units don't destroy him. Out here, we've got some Skinwolves trying to flank around us, but between a single one of the units of organ guns and some Trollhammer torpedoes focusing them, they should melt before they ever reach our lines, or at the very least should be heavily damaged enough. Speaking of melting, it looks like Mr. TAMURKHAN has already lost about 80% of his HP. He's being focused, I believe, by one organ gun and 4 units of Trollhammers, which is quite a bit of Trollhammer action. Looks like some enemies are also trying to flank us, some Plague Toads, and out down goes TAMURKHAN. Aw, poor Beaver-Bolos. Alright, there we go. I just wanted to see that death animation in proper form. Yeah, Plague Toads try to loop around us, but unfortunately for them, get ripped apart by Trollhammer torpedoes once more. Plague Ogres trying to do the same thing and suffering the same fate. If nothing else, the Trollhammer torpedo army is actually pretty darn solid against the forces of Nurgle and against the forces of TAMURKHAN as well, as he has quite a few of these larger units, but we are pretty adept at ripping them apart. Looks like some more more plague ogres try to move in, and look at them burn together with the Nurglings. The Nurglings melt away, the Thane holds the tide back, and it looks like the tide will fail to breach our lines. Very nice. Rather quick battle this time around, but, well, perhaps expectedly so, as either the enemy was going to reach our lines, or it was going to melt before it did. This generally kind of is the case with Grumbrindl's army so far, but it is quite fun. I always love watching those troll hammers fly and smash into enemy units. Alright, well, that worked out pretty well for us, and we're going to do our best to chase the enemy down to the degree that we can with our flyers, but we'll do it off screen. Alright, that went, well, pretty darn effectively, if I do say so myself. Gromby took some damage, but I think most of the damage was from friendly fire. In fact, it sort of forced us to back off. TAMURKHAN met with those trollhammer torpedoes, which he really did not enjoy, as he's a big old target, and we have sufficient damage on these guys to actually bring him down. And the Thunder Barge was, of course, quite helpful, and the 2 units of gyrocopters were as well, making sure that the enemy Soul Grinder was brought down, and then harassing the enemy fast movers and single entities all the way to our army. Organ guns did pretty okay, 15 and 16k damage as well, and Gromby didn't really have anything to do, but mostly because the enemy line really failed to reach our own battle lines, so that should hardly be surprising. Now, I think we don't have to heal up. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm gonna risk it. I think we're in our own territory still. Or we're not in our own territory, we're in Boris's territory, which should enable us to heal in theory. I guess we're about to find out. Yeah, it looks like we were. And if we can heal there, then I'd rather have the money. Draika, you should be attacking us as well. Barundan and Callan, let's see if you can stand against 2.5 stacks of Wood Elves. It's quite a few, but it won't be a lot of range units in there. Huh? One of those little vampire stacks move? Wouldn't be a lot of range military alliance, huh? Thorgrim, do we want a military alliance with you? You would give us money for this. The good thing about doing this would be the ability to get vision from them. I would like to see what's going on down here to our southern border. I think there is quite a bit of a benefit to that. Yeah, alright, let's do it. Fine. Can't think of a reason why we shouldn't do this, other than potentially getting drawn into wars, but even if we do, we could always confederate him. We can't right now because we can't afford it, but yeah, fine. I still think the vision will be quite useful. Draika, you immediately want peace? You have 2.5 stacks right there. What are you doing? What the... Damn it, Raponce. We're busy. What the heck happened? Okay, fine. Raponce, we'll take a look at that in a second. You want us to trade with you? Sure. I don't see why not. You are trading with Cult of Sigmar. Oh, look at that. Cult of Sigmar are alive. With Pirates of Sartosa and Scarby, you're at war. This is all fine. Sure. What don't you like? Strategic threat and aversion. Aversion? I mean, I get why you'd be averse, there you go, to the Greybeard's Prospectors. What the heck did we do? They're not even dwarfs. Anyway, military alliance, payments 900, no, Ropsman clan. I still plan on betraying you one of these days. Hopefully the campaign doesn't end before I get the chance to, but we'll see. And there we go, defeated TAMURKHAN the Maggot Lord, the ridiculously nice defeat trait that we have for him with 3 capacity for all heroes. It's frankly quite crazy and might need toning down, but anyway, we have a master engineer, another master engineer. It's gonna go here, and we're gonna need more. We're gonna need plenty more, as we have several armies that's sort of going to be built around them. Hey, we got 2 trade tariff guys. Nice. Scarigny Norgrimling, ready for duty? Sure, great for him. And hey, Belagar, yes. We need you now, sir. I need you now, Belagar. Anyway, where are we here? We've got, there we go, Bellegarde to replace Zamnil Rocky Breaker. I still gotta put you into a proper army. It won't be this one. Wait, let me just see here.
Time for a reckoning.
I'm just wondering whether we could keep... wait, Zamnil has an additional campaign movement range. Auroric has Ancient. Huh.
Let us begin.
Okay, wait. And we're going to do this the other way around. Like this and like this. Trade those units. Then we will replace Auroric with Bellegarde. Like so. If you're wondering why I'm doing this, it's because we want to travel these units all the way out here to reinforce the those armies, or well, maybe reinforce isn't quite the right word, but to swap out units. Bellegarde, what is this? Oh, it's a battle marker. I thought it was a hidden encampment or something. And Bellegarde, you, sir, are going into ambush stance right out here. And you, I knew there would be rats out here. There was that second army that never got destroyed. Or you, sir, Zamnil, go into encamp right beside Bellegarde. And, oh, right, wait. Problem. If the ambush fails, these guys can still ambush this army. Which ain't great. We could take the risk. But that might mean all of these units get destroyed. It's kind of risky. Kind of risky. We could try moving at enough of a distance where it's not possible, like right out here maybe. What's the likelihood that you could reach us here in regular move? Low, right? I'm gonna assume low. But I'm not... Actually, probably not. He probably could reach us here. No, I don't like that. Back away. We gotta do this right. Can we recruit any units here? We don't really need... You know what, I'll think about this. We will consider this once we've done everything else that needs to be done this turn. Because, yeah, that could be iffy. Malakai. Well, since TAMURKHAN is all the way up here, you've destroyed this little army. I'm almost tempted to send you briefly to the Volary rather than hanging around up here. Could do that to avoid the plagues, which you still don't have on you. But you can't reach granite spikes from this distance. What kind of plague do we have here? Campaign movement range reduction? Oh man, that's just awful. I really don't want that. And these guys have broken into Cathay. Attacking them would be really helpful, but it would give TAMURKHAN time to recover. I suppose we could always move over here, hit these guys a few times, then see our way back. And oh! We have another army out here already. That was quick. Damn. Okay, looks like Gromby, you're gonna get the chance to fight again. If Gromby could take these guys out himself, that would be real swell. What do we have here, by the way? Nothing crazy, but I think we should probably still fight it, just because I'm wary of taking damage in uninhabitable climate, especially. And since we can't immediately leave the territory because... and trade it to Boris, because we would be missing a point. 2 turns, 1 turn's duration, eh? In 1 turn, the Dragon's Death Plague will be up. I'm very tempted to try to avoid these plagues with Malakai. But they'd definitely be able to recover their armies before we got out there. Yeah, it's probably not worth it. At least we should probably move all the way to Dragon's Death and then move all the way back. Floating Mountain is something I think that Gromby can take, while Malakai pushes on towards Zatan. Alright, fine, take the challenge stone. What do we have here, by the way? Decisive victory, low casualties. I hope it's sufficiently low casualties, because plagues. I mean, this is obviously not worth fighting. The Air Force would obliterate this with... They have no air defenses whatsoever, auto-resolve. Yeah, we're fine. And... sec... And, they didn't get the plague. Go figure. But if we occupied, we probably will. Probably too much risk occupy. And no plague. Okay, stay outside the settlement. This might prevent you from getting the plague. No guarantee, of course, but who knows. Only Malakai was immune to plagues. Just stay up on the airship and gun enemies down without touching anything. That's how you avoid the plague. Anyway, Architect Zufbarden. Was there anything else here? Were we going to push all the way to Monolith of Catan just to build the reinforced gates? How far is the Monolith? Well, it's actually fairly close. We could... Yeah, you know what? It's like right there. It's a little tiny bit of movement that I think is worth our time. To build this for free. And Serpent Jetty is quite far. Probably not going to push up this way because I wanted to go to the Monolith of Bjorkill Bloody Hand and... Wait, no, it was Doomkeep. No. Where did I want to go with you? Assuming that we avoid Troll Fjord. And we don't have to. We could push over there. And we still needs to get to the Monolith. But only in the next 5 turns to make this free. Doomkeep in the next 4 turns, which will take a while. Nelfari Plain, Sarlin Campment, you're fine. I guess we do have to travel all the way back to Krakadrak for some upgrades here. Not that a lot of them are crazy expensive right now, mind you. We just have to build some stuff up there, but we'll consider that in a bit. Ooh, we are at 1,000 oath gold now, which will be great for when we get our Slayer speed, 20%. I love it. Should we go around this way? I feel like it'll take longer than going around. Yeah, it will take longer than going around, but at least this way we'll be able to stop on by at Serpent Jetty, which will probably have to maintain the guard hall forever, and just by virtue of the fact that, well, it'll always be in danger out here. Alright, fine, we're gonna go the long way around. Just to save a little tiny bit of cash. But it's not like we don't have to wait for the 4 and 5 turns in these territories anyway, so... And that's unavoidable, so there it is. Anyway, Stochel, you and the Jartrum are heading all the way over to the Palace of Ruin. But let's move Snorri first. I would like to see... Well, first of all, occupy Shagrath, or take it for free. Aha, Siggy, wait, can we... Ah, we can't reach him. I was hoping we could reach him from here, but it looks like we can't. I'm going to assume that he will either back off to the Frozen City or attack us. Like, what's the likelihood that he goes up here? I'm gonna say it's low, and thus we can freely move you. Wait, would it be faster to move? No. Okay, go here. We just have to head to the Palace of Ruin. Also, how's Valkia doing? She's not that strong anymore. Alright, that's fine. These are all territories we can actually hold on to now, so it's a little bit different than what we were dealing with before. Don't bother collecting the income here for at least a little while, though. And let's empower those guilds. The corruption is at least gone in the Shardlands, but the conquest and provincial instability are still going to be quite a problem for us. Don't collect the income here at the Silver Tower as yet. Although I'm still on the fence about deleting it versus keeping it. King Lun, you... Oh, lord, now they're beside each other... Okay, I don't think you can handle 2 of them. They're multiplying. Yeah, what you can probably do is knock out Hermann von Falkenstein and then possibly move all the way up towards the Silver Pinnacle where these guys can't reach you, thereby allowing yourself to heal up. Probably the way to do it. Now let's move everybody else around first then. Oh, right, Ashok, you got stuck last turn, meaning you can't have moved away. Die. Oh, okay, fine, you'll move now. And... wait. Do we go after you with Ungrim, or do we... Okay, wait. Ungrim, you're kind of at the edge of your range. I'm worried that if we go after this guy, we won't be able to reach... Is this enough of a detour? If you do this, you won't be able to go all the way down here, but I think you kind of have a detour either way. Nah, fine, go this way. I don't know if that's the wrong way to go about it, but whatever. Auto-resolve? And I don't know, heal just in case. Once again, we don't know how many of these orc armies are nearby. Hey, perfect vigor, very nice. Move out. Ah, there you go. Exactly. Orc. Oh, damn, no. If I had gone this way, we would have been able to prevent them from getting to Firemouth. But it looks like now we won't be able to. Unless they try to run from you. Can they reach? Yeah, they can reach Firemouth. Decent likelihood they sack it, but it's not like we can send Ungrim over there right now. I mean, we can. Huh, actually, wait. Maybe we should. You're here. If you, Ungrim, go all the way around here, you can reach Firemouth. It'll prevent you from taking the Veil of Titans, but we can send Cobalt around to do that next turn, while Lungrim pushes southward towards Karakazorn. Yeah, maybe that'll work. Alright, also, how are we doing out here? Oh wow, Thorgrim. Everything you've got is Plagueinated. And these are Skaven Plagues? Oh lord, please don't transfer Skaven Plagues to us. Ugh. Unlike a lot of the Nurgle Plagues, the Skaven Plagues cause attrition, and it's just horrible. It's horrible for everyone involved. Anyway, Norgrim Forged. You, sir, were trying to get to Gromby, who's kind of avoiding you. Not on purpose, mind you, but avoiding you nonetheless. What you want to do is upgrade... Oh, I forgot to do a thing. Belagar. And a very important thing. Rally the holds, diplomatic relations, global recruitment, blah 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 blah. What we want is Age of Reconquest. Construction cost reduction 30% for province capitals and settlements. And melee attack, melee defense, and missile strength for rangers and bolt throwers. Physical resistance for the entire army. Unlocks recruitment Thane all provinces. Charge bonus for the army. Okay, sure. And I don't think I care about the Gather the Old Clans thing. Then we get the Bane of Destruction. Massive buffs versus Greenskins and Skaven. Perfect. We can take Obstinacy and Age of Reconquest. And it gives us additional movement range and that Shattering Ward. Minus 12%. Not too bad. It tells me that we probably want to stack the Rune of Dismay, which gives additional leadership reduction in Belagar's army, forcing enemies to rout as they close the distance with his piles of rangers. Next up, we want to buff said rangers, which means going for Thunderer here, for Bugmans. And we'll definitely want to put a point into Aura of Endurance for the melee and missile resistance. But we can probably ignore the other two, at least for now. Now, we have cannons for now, but he buffs bolt throwers. Then again, so does Thorak, but if he buffs them, I might put a few of them into his army, so let's get Tactician for you. Hope I'm not wrong about this. And then Rally. Don't bother getting you buffs yet. Let's get you... Okay, nobody's going to take any advantage of this. Do we want to get Stand Your Ground? We might. We might. Belagar, you can also buff Bugman's Rangers via Dowie Firepower and then Stand Your Ground. Then... Lord of the Deeps. Do you have anything that increases your interception chance? Chance of interception, 30%. I mean... Normally I wouldn't bother with something like this. But if he's going to be fighting the Scryer Skaven in particular, it might be worth our time. On the other hand, one of the problems with the entire dwarf skill line is that they don't have an equivalent to Quartermaster. None whatsoever. Nothing reduces, except Inquiring Mind, upkeep for the entire army. Nurgle has it in the first portion of the blue tree. Most other factions have it in the second portion. Dwarfs don't have it at all. Which means generally, unless you're specifically trying to get Lightning Strike, it's never worth it going through the blue line. Which means we have to figure out whether we have enough points on Belagar specifically to warrant doing so, and I'm not sure that we do. At the very least, I'm not entirely sure that we can risk it. Let's see if we can do this via ancillaries instead. Let's get Lord of the Deeps, however, and we'll ignore the Rune of Grimnir. I mean, we'll probably get you Morgrim's Favorite, but for now, let's get your Rune Warded Armor, Mastercrafted Weapon, buff you up a little bit as well, and Brasslunged. I generally don't bother with Brasslunged. I feel like it's not worth the point in most situations, but it could be here, but we'll see. Anyway, that looks good to me. Okay, I'm not going to bother leveling those guys up. What I would like to see, though, is those ancillaries. Specifically, anything that gives us an interception increase. I'm not sure that such a thing exists, but I feel like it does. I'm gonna have Shield Breaker. Wait, Lord's army? Are you telling me that these guys can get shield? No, it's only for Lord. Damn. Alright, fine then. Game. You're gonna be like that. Attrition when under siege, that's not what we want. Income from sacking settlements, this should... Actually, no, we should put that on somebody, but not you. Powdermaker, Miner, Jewelsmith, Guildmaster. Oh, we have another Guildmaster. Do these have to go on Lords? No, they don't. You. Take a Guildmaster. There you go. Come on, it's gotta be in here somewhere, right? Fighting Greenskin buffs, Corruption buffs, Choirmaster Control, Brewmaster, Archivist, no. Are you telling me no such thing exists, or that it hasn't dropped? I mean, Slayer Wards never dropped for us for the entire campaign, to be fair. Also, you're missing a talisman. We should have a Talisman of Preservation. One's on Kalandeepra and one's on Gotrek. Yeah, no, fine. Keep them on the Slayers. Do you have a Talisman of Endurance? You have a Crown of Command. Alright, take the Potion of Healing for now, though I feel like other lords might be better off holding on to those. And the Talisman of Endurance. There we go. Soon-ish, we'll have the Oath Gold free to start making our own items. With blackjack, etc. And we'll have to deal with that now. I wanted to do this, wait. Malakai, assuming that you're sacking everything out here, and good chances you are, you will want that sack money increase thing. Income from post-battle loot powder maker, yeah, that's useless, although it does feel appropriate for Malakai, mind you. And I have completely forgotten what the name of the thing that I wanted was. And there was only one of it, so now I'm gonna not find it ever, am I? Prospector. Yes, sacking settlements. I mean, Gromby will sack settlements as well. Oh, man. 6,002. And now I'm just wondering... Malakai, wait, go into regular stance for a second. 4.9k, 7k. And 25k, yes, Volery. That should fund us for quite a bit. It's still mostly, I mean, there's a few territories that we could technically hold here, but I'm not into it. We have plenty. We have plenty to be getting on with. And Dwarfen infrastructure is fairly expensive when you don't deal with it via engineering cores, so, yeah. What do you have, Shieldbreaker? You also have a Pattern Maker. You know what, you take the Prospector for now. We'll sack this. I might sort of use it between lords just to increase our money a little bit. We get this from sacking settlements, and this is either the first time we got it or we got it via Confederation. We sacked every single settlement here, every single one, and we never got that. And we probably sacked a few in a few other places, and we never got one. There's something off about this, isn't there? Like, items weren't really dropping for us, we confederated, and suddenly the AI gave us a ton of regular non-Oath Gold items that we didn't have. Almost all of this was from the AI. Then we got the Slayer Wards. The AI had like 10 of them, and we had none for the entire campaign. What's going on here? Something's up. Something's up with the item drops. Am I wrong? Am I crazy? Is this actually happening, or have I gone insane? Anyway, Okri Iron Pick, you were still heading to Stauchel, yes?
Leave it to me.
Let's continue. Let's leave my sanity or lack thereof aside for a moment. Level up Gromby. Now, you know what? Let's fight in the Darklands first. I want King Lund to keep fighting. You're saving points, right, for Fell-Handed Warrior? Yes. So we're going after Hermann von Falkenstein. Try to not get this army rather. Try not to take too much damage, and then move to kill the others. Go.
We will have vengeance!
Alright, well, vengeance against the undead is our speciality, or King Lund's speciality in this army is the specialty in this particular case. They're pretty darn good at it at this point, and it does look like they still have a fair few more elite undead armies to work through. I have been enjoying this, though I never expected it to have this many elite armies spawn in this particular place. It's now gone up to 2 elite armies per turn. It's certainly quite a bit for one army to handle, and it is causing us or forcing us to play a little bit more carefully with this army than I otherwise might. But that's fine, I guess. I do wish that the devs would come up with, you know, something new, something a little bit more original than a billion armies spawn where you are. I mean, it's a tired sort of idea. There's a reason why nobody, well, not nobody, but there's a reason why people, let's say many people, didn't like the concept of the Vortex campaign, where you do that Vortex race and then a bunch of armies spawn upon you. It wasn't fun, and it's the same reason that I've personally grown sort of bored of the endgame scenarios as they currently are. Although I think that the adjustment to making it so that the endgame scenarios only spawn for factions that are still on the map, and the extra units get distributed among those units that still exist, should be the thing that they change to it, because old factions reviving, it just completely takes me out of the immersion of the whole sandbox experience. Kind of hard to write your own story where it just overwrites it every time, you know what I mean? Kind of the point of Immortal Empires over Realms of Chaos or Vortex or whatever other version of the campaign you may be playing. Anyway, all that aside, we've got armies to fight. This is the state of the game, and this is what we're dealing with. Now, as usual, we've set up our dwarf warriors, our basic dwarf warriors, outside of the piles of hammers and other units so that they take the brunt of the enemy charges. Looks like some Black Knights do manage to charge on through and get towards one of our units of Thunderers, and the Vargeist similarly charge towards our units of Trollhammer Torps, but we did keep back several units of Hammerers specifically to defend our range, which we certainly need. Otherwise, the balance of power is, if not quite even, only about 55% in our favor, and the battle will be, by the looks of it, decided on the flanks. The enemy has once again made the relatively fatal mistake of waiting, and of not waiting rather, to send in its fast movers and elites. The Mortis engine, all those Vargeists and Knights and whatnot, have arrived long before the slow-moving Graveguard reached our battle lines. The problem with this, in this particular situation, is that we don't have artillery in this army. In another army, this might have been a decent idea, wherein we were bombarding the enemy the entire time, but because we don't have artillery, the enemy should have moved the entire army together and taken advantage of infantry and monsters fighting at once, and with a little bit of help from those necromancers, corpse cart, mortis engine, etc., to heal them up, give them vigor mortis, etc., etc. But alas for the enemy, they didn't do it, and we are certainly going to take advantage as our hammerers rip apart the enemy units. Our summoned unit of gyrocopters comes down. I hope it does damage when it does that. I tend to position them so that they disappear and then die on top of enemy units, but I'm not entirely sure whether they do damage. In theory, they should, because giant units crashing on top of on top of infantry units at the very least do hurt them. But I don't know. Anyway, looks like the Mortis engine is just about done. Once again, our Frostworm managed to anchor the line quite well, and looks like with the death of the Mortis engine, or destruction of the Mortis engine, and death of the Necromancer riding, the enemy army is pretty much done for. The enemy Lord, who has a sort of coterie of Corpse Guards, Crypt Corps, a bunch of infantry units, are the last holdouts, while their center and their right flank have completely collapsed. Just a few more hits from our Lord here, together with both Thanes, who were trying to focus down the Strigoi Ghoul King. But it looks like there wasn't much need, as the Strigoi King looks really sad. Aw, now I feel bad. You get pets. It reminds me of the Soul Grinders when they die, and they just sort of slump down. Poor guys. He tried. Anyway, yeah, battle's ours, a close victory, and we did take some damage, and it will probably warrant some healing, so we're going to have to be careful about the other armies that are nearby. But once again, King Lun continues to do it, even without without his army being complete as yet. Alright, there we go. Once again, decent work from King Lun. We've no choice, I think, but to heal up, because we do have two other armies hanging out nearby. And I guess we attack you, and hope that the auto resolve doesn't damage us too heavily. Don't hurt the Frostworms, please. Okay, now we're okay. And heal up again just in case. Alright, then We probably want to return... Ooh, wait, are you going to be in range? No, you're just out of range. Okay, that might have been dangerous. Just get out of range of the enemy armies. I would like you to heal before getting attacked by them both. And Vampire Slayer for King Lund. Yeah, I bet. He is the vampire slayingest of our lords, I would say. Let's get your hack and slash from that, which will buff up the hammers further with a nice 15% weapon strength and much needed melee defense. And assuming they're actually starting to reach rank 7 at this point, meaning we could try to get towards Honored by Grimnir and get them physical resistance and even more attacking power, which ain't too bad. On the other hand, there's obstinacy to consider. I think it's fairly long ways away to get over here, so for 1 point and for usefulness in the next battle in particular, obstinacy is probably the way to go. Alright, let's level you two up as well, and Blade Shield, I believe, you have the good stuff, good. Alright, we need a third Thane in here. And you were waiting for Fell-Handed Warriors, so Unfaltering, Inherited Arms, and then another Glittering Scales. That should be quite helpful. And then the Runesmith. You probably don't need Rune of Slowness here. I'm probably going to go Sharpen Weapons just to lean in even further into the damage on these guys. We have Ward Breaker, we have Rune of Hearth and Home. Rune of Negation can certainly help in emergency situations, but I feel like if you're choosing between the runes, about 90% of the time, you're not choosing Rune of Breaking or Rune of Negation, mostly because they apply to only a single unit. While they're solid runes, they're not going to outperform the Rune of Speed with the area melee attack plus 24, and the speed potentially, which is quite nice, or the Rune of Wrath and Ruin, which can explode a pile of enemy units, or potentially the Master Rune of Oath and Steel. Always better to buff up like 6 units at once, rather than, you know, just a single unit. In that light, I think we can... Look, I do want Strike the Runes, but I think the little bit of extra bonus damage will help from here. So we'll go for Sharpen Weapons, which will give us another 5%. We can invest 2 more points to get it up to 10%, or now we can move towards Strike the Runes. And I think that's what we'll do. So let's get your Rune of Negation and then on towards Strike Runes. Alright, we'll see how you fare against both of these armies next turn, I guess. But for now, we are mostly good in this particular turn. Okay, well, there is also this now. I don't really understand why Draca decided to run away, but there's not much we can do about it. And in fact, wait. She had 2 armies. No. She had 2 full stacks, and then... concern, I don't see where the other full stack is. It could be attempting to lay an ambush. Out of these 2 armies, who's more or who's less vulnerable to ambush? You have a bunch of ranged troops. You have a bunch of ranged troops as well. However, they're the melee type of ranged troops. I think if anybody gets ambushed, it should probably be Callan. He can move further, though. I'm very tempted to try to go after this other army. We don't know where the other army ran off to. How's Griffin Wood looking? Oh. That's disappointingly auto-resolvable. Okay, fine. Draca, you abandoned your last territory for this. I wonder if we could still go here and then still be able to attack you. Is that asking for too much? I don't know. Oh, who gets more sack value out of this? 13k. Ooh, you know. Okay, I don't really want to be doing this, but wait. Take out the stonemason. Until we get another one, because I feel like it's bugged. Let's keep... I wish that there was a way to add this thing to, like, favorites or something. Oh, this should go immediately back to Gromby, shouldn't it? Yeah, well, whatever. Now this is worth... Yeah, a little bit more. Not much more, but a little bit more. Go here, and... Oh, there they are. I guess they're sticking together, that's fine. Sticking together is what good dryads do. Alright, encircle. And you can move in. I guess we'll have to wait on Mr. Leopold for a turn or 2. Oh, and you can't go into encamp. Oh, that's not good. Would you suffer Athalore attrition in Griffin Wood, or would you not? Huh. Shouldn't you suffer attrition here? I guess this doesn't count as Athalore attrition, even though it's sort of like an enclave. But anyway, Rune of Courage is no longer supposed to be in this army, which is why it no longer is, but whatever. Auto-resolve, wait. Auto resolve.
Stop till you're dead.
And I guess second, that did very little damage. Second, we're not keeping the place. We can give it to somebody. And yeah, you can't reach this guy anyway, so just occupy it. Ah, mission successful as well. Occupy. Lovely. This is probably not good for Draika because this is her only money-making territory. The others are all outposts, and without supplies to sustain them, starvation, disease, or desertion is causing troops to suffer attrition. Yes, alright. Well, Draika's in trouble now. I feel like she's probably going to now attack us. I mean, she doesn't have too much of a choice left, but we'll have to deal with that next time, because folks, we're out of time. This is more or less a standard episode, though it's gone longer than it was supposed to, but I have a habit of doing so anyway. So, gonna call it here. Next time we attack the Gallows Tree with Gromby, hopefully wipe out Draika's faction from the map. Thereafter, moving these armies southward to meet up with this army, blob up, reinforce, retrofit, and get these armies into ship shape. One of them will then head up to the Fecund Knights, and then one of them will head southward to help against the Bloody Hands, probably moving towards our Confederation of Karazakarak as well. They are quite contiguous with our empire now, and especially with how decently, let's say, they're doing in the Darklands. Once we have all this and they have all this, we can fed and it'll be beautiful. Anyway, stay tuned for more. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. Perhaps we can still get back to the, move forward, to the hour-longs. Perhaps not, we'll see, but the episodes will continue regardless. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.